Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dylan.
I'm Wes.
We have been on Etsy about 8 years now. We've made over $1 million in profit, and now we teach several thousand Etsy sellers how to scale their businesses. You have submitted your questions on Instagram, so we thought it would be really fun to do a Q&A. We haven't done one of these in over a year, and a lot has changed. So we thought we would answer your questions today. Is hustle culture good or bad?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think it depends. For both of us, we really enjoy what we're doing, and we enjoy kind of that being busy and focused on building something, growing a business together. I can't tell you the last time that we sat down and watched TV. We don't have cable. We don't have any streaming services, and that's okay. You know, everybody has 24 hours of the day. We all have that same amount of time, and so time is a resource, and you have to choose where you're going to spend that. And that's sort of the great equalizer sometimes in business. How do you get more out of your time that you have? Is that the things that we've given up, I'm not going to remember, I'm not going to regret, you know? And maybe there are people that look back and it's like, yeah, you remember that time that we watched that movie together and that was just like so memorable. But just for us, that's not the case. That would be my answer to that question. What about you, Dylan?
Time, it's a resource, just like money. So think about how you're investing time and money, right? I'm not going to put my time into something that's not worth it. And for me, scrolling on the couch for an hour, what's the return on that? In terms of hustle culture, this may make some people mad, but I actually think that a lot of people are just more lazy nowadays. They're not willing to put in what it takes. Sometimes you have to ignore your feelings and just take the actions. I love working. I don't think it's bad to love working.
I think that most people don't realize how much time is being wasted. And it's so easy to become distracted and say, I don't have time. When you really do, you just don't realize where that time is being lost.
When is hustle culture bad?
Okay, I think hustle culture is bad when it starts to impact your health.
I would say health or relationships. You know, there's an emotional thing there. Like if your spouse is not on board with, you know, why you're doing something, then that can probably lead to a lot of conflict.
I think that's why it's so important to find someone who matches your work ethic, because I really don't think it would work if one person is, you know, all about working hard and the hustle, and then the other person is like, I just want to like watch TV. I think there would be resentment and a lack of respect if that happened.
You'd probably never be perfectly paired there. And so it's always a give and a take from both sides.
What's one of the biggest disagreements you've had about the Etsy shop?
Okay. I mean, do you want to go first or do you want me to?
Oh, this is good. This is actually really good. Before we had an Etsy shop manager, he would package orders. Sometimes he would be packaging orders and he would hold the thing up and he would say, is this done? Like, are we going to ship this? I would be like, what do you mean? Do you not like it?
From my perspective, it's certainly not criticism to Dylan. When you come from a military background, particularly from a submarine background, there's always some level of review. There's somebody that does the job, and then there's somebody that audits the job. You're just trying to make sure that we never ship a product that we wouldn't be proud of. Before we ever hired any employees, there were days that we were shipping 30, 40 orders sometimes a day. It's really, really hard to do that kind of volume and not to miss some things.
Yeah, great attention to detail, greater attention to detail, probably.
Well, I'm curious if you had one for yourself.
Probably the disagreements that I've had at times have been ironically more encouraging Dylan to make an investment in something when she didn't want to. For the longest period of time, we cut every single label that we ship products with on printer paper that we printed on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Now we have a thermal label printer and it just prints them all out and they self-stick, and you save so much time.
It's good.
This is interesting. If you had started your Etsy shop in 2024, would you still sell physical products or would you change your shop?
I would sell physical products that I outsource from day one to employees. So not day one, actually. I'd probably say day like 100. Because I would want to do all the testing myself, but I would choose physical products that are easy to train people on. That way I don't get stuck in the weeds of making. With our shop, it was, me hot gluing flowers in very specific, unique designs, putting together gift boxes, for example, selling supplies, or having really just easy products that are very easy to train people on. I would still do physical products, probably customizable products. And the reason is Physical products that you are doing likely going to be a higher margin than print on demand. I like having a high average order value. I'd rather have 5 orders a day that are $500 each than 250 orders that are $10 each, right?
What are 3 customers and products you should sell in 2024?
That's a good one. A lot of people think Etsy's oversaturated now. It's not even worth it to start a new shop, but it's oversaturated with bad listings and shops that aren't targeting profitable customers. So it's not in any order. But number 1 would be content creators. Really now, most small businesses, they have to become content creators. What problems do content creators have? Organization is a big one. Trust me, they're short on time. They're wearing so many hats. It's hard to be efficient with things and keep things organized with so many different platforms that they're leveraging. Potentially some spreadsheets or tools or templates to help them organize their content calendar. Second customer would be parents with kids who are in expensive sports and activities because inflation might not be hurting them in the same way. I would definitely be looking at targeting those people with consistent spending habits who are still spending money on those expensive activities despite what's going on with the economy. That's a good customer to target. Third customer I would target would be solopreneurs because with all of the layoffs and concerns about job security, people are starting their own things and a lot of them haven't done that before. So whether that be example contracts or like Notion templates or different Google Sheets for budgeting or organization or inventory management, things like that. That is what solopreneurs need because they start without any of that at the foundation. And with that, you could really drive up the lifetime value of your customer. And as their business grows, they keep coming back to you. So make sure you can serve them for at least 4 to 7 years, not just that startup phase. What is your trait that made you become a successful entrepreneur? Let's self-identify. Why do you think you're a successful entrepreneur?
Well, coming from the military, you want to be part of the team. A big part of that is that you don't wait to be asked to do something. You figure out what needs to be done and then you go do it. Yeah, I think just being willing to jump right in and not wait to be asked is part of it.
I think that's spot on for Wes. For me, I think it's endurance and not having any quit to the point where I don't stop. I don't really burn out either. I just don't stop. And I think a lot of people have things in their life happen. Life things, they happen to everyone, right? And a lot of people pause on everything else that they're working on when life things happen. But we've just plowed through. If I had paused every time a life thing happened, I'd be pausing every other month. You're not going to grow doing that. So I think that's a big part of the mindset of being an entrepreneur.
Here's a really interesting one. What is your one single sentence of advice for small business owners?
I've got 2. It's a tie. I think the first one is too cliche, but I'm going to say it anyways. The only way to fail is to quit. It takes on a whole new meaning sometimes when you actually become a small business owner. But the real one I want to say is that winning is a choice. If you have access to the internet, not many people are willing to make the decisions along the way necessary to win, but it's an option. I really believe it's an option.
I think to go along with that, if I had to distill it down to one sentence, I would say don't wait to feel ready to take action. If you wait to feel ready to take action, you're never going to get there. And growth happens so often at the point of discomfort. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, that's maybe an indication that you're probably on the right path. In my own life, I've noticed, in the past that sometimes the tendency is always to find an excuse why I can't do this, why I need to do more research, I need to learn something else. And it turns out that one of the best ways to learn something is to do it.
Okay, the next question, how do you find time to connect when you are both busy and have littles? Really while we're working. We don't see building these businesses as work time that we're not connecting. We really have integrated both together. So working, I would say, how do you select the shop to review? Can you please review my shop? We are constantly doing shop audits for our students in the coaching program. It's our brand new program, the Ultimate Etsy course, and that's with one-on-one coaching. So if you would like us to review your shops, we can do that every single day if you want. Just schedule a free call with us. What is your biggest goal for 2024?
Oh boy. I can't wait to find out.
We have some shared goals, but I think we also have some personal goals. One of my big goals is to refine our team. Building a team of A players. I think we've done that really, really well. But I've learned over the last year that not having A players on the team, it's going to completely limit your growth. And it also brings down the other A players that you do have. And then launching a couple of new businesses by the end of the year here. So those are a couple of big goals. And obviously continuing to change as many lives as possible and have the biggest impact that we can have with the gifts that we've been given and the knowledge that we can share?
Yeah, I think those are great goals. And I think the only one that's maybe more of a personal goal for myself is, looking to the future, kind of determining what my role in a way to leverage whatever skill sets I may have to, to bring value to the company.
He could do any role really, really well. It's like, I want him to have something that he wakes up and is excited about and is fulfilling to you personally,
Thanks.
Yeah. What are the advantages of working with your spouse?
There's a lot, actually. When you are working together on the same thing, it forces you to really talk about some of your goals together, and you really kind of just naturally tend to be on the same page. The end goal, the bigger picture is largely the same for us. Now, we may disagree, at times on how you get there, but it's really, I think, a good process to really get that bigger picture goal in alignment.
And I think with growing businesses to this scale, 7 and 8 figures, like we've had to make some high impact decisions that are not easy. It's not like, what are we going to have, Chick-fil-A or Panda Express? Like, that's a tough call too. But as you make bigger and bigger decisions together over time, you just become more confident in your decision-making ability, and things don't seem as scary in the future. How much money are you trying to make in these businesses, and how much is enough?
I don't think for either one of us, it's necessarily about the money. It's not. I mean, we definitely have financial goals. Far more rewarding now are the stories that you talk to people. Recently, we were able to attend an in-person event for the very first time with 15 different people from the program. And I kid you not, Dylan had tears in her eyes when the introductions were made, going around the room of hearing the stories from people about how their life had changed. That is like one of the most rewarding parts, is to play a small part in that journey. We are only giving people, the education and the help and the resources and the community. Just so inspiring to see all of these people taking all those things, becoming financially free and achieving the lifestyle that they want.
At a certain point, it's not about the money anymore. I think it's about the money till you're making 6 figures, and then how much money does a person need, As long as your family's taken care of, you have options and opportunities that you want to go after. And that's why I love doing this, because we get to help thousands of people build something. I could never build thousands of Etsy shops, right? Have my hand in that many building opportunities. That's what this is about. So that's what I live for right now. If you have any questions about how to make working on Etsy with your spouse really work for your marriage, or if you want to have Wes back on the channel and ask him some questions, definitely leave comments, and we will come back to this video, review your comments, and make a future video answering all of your questions. If you like this video, please let us know, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to comment below if you want Wes to come back.
Thanks, everyone.
The month before I started the program, I made $696. The first month after joining the coaching program, I made $4,149, and that came from 133 orders.